Is a digital video clone better than talking to a real human being? Is it worse? Is it the same? Well, at the risk of sounding glib, it's really all three of those things, depending on the circumstance. There have been many times when I've been shocked at how good an answer my clone will give, better than what I can remember. It's more organized. It can rattle off 10 points in a row logically in a sequence that really makes sense, far better than I can do. It also has perfect recall. If someone asks my clone who gave the best acceptance speech of the Academy Awards in 2013, it can tell you exactly who did it and why and what they did well. If you ask me, I'm like, I can barely remember last year. So its ability to have recall is fantastic. It can give a depth of answers and put in a lot more facts than most people, including me, can just recall off the top of our head. So, yes, the digital clone can be superior. Now, obviously, it is not as good as talking to a real human being some of the time, arguably most of the time. Most people would much rather talk to a human being, make sure they're really being understood, make sure that they're being paid respect and someone's truly listening to them. That is something human beings are hardwired to want, to have another human being listening to them. So I don't think there's ever going to be a time when humans are not going to want to talk to a real human. But the whole point of having a clone is that there are some times where you don't have enough time of you to answer every single question or to deal with every single customer or prospect or to do one-on-one style training or coaching or tutoring. And depending on who you are or what organization you're with, the more demand you have, the more it's going to really help to be able to scale your expertise by using a clone. Plus the ability for it to answer questions in any language, which isn't perfect at the time of this recording, but is being filtered out in some of the formats. And all the anticipation is it's going to be here very, very soon. Now, there's some other aspects of where a digital clone can actually be superior to a live human being. One of my clones is a life coach. It helps people with any and every aspect of life coaching. I have created 40, 50 some courses specific to life coaching, things like how to have more purpose in your life, how to have better habits. Well, if someone wakes up at 3 in the morning and wants a life coaching session, they're going to be too embarrassed to call me up, even if I were willing to get up at 3 in the morning to coach them, which I'm not. But knowing that they're not really dealing with a real person can make them feel a lot more comfortable pushing a button and starting a session right away. So, in some ways, it's actually easier for people to feel comfortable. Part of it is the time. Part of it is wanting to go on and on and on occasionally. If someone wants to talk for 2 hours and 10 minutes about some aspect of their life where they want personal life coaching, they're not going to want to book a session with me if I were booking sessions an hour at a time. It would run out of time. There's also the aspect that sometimes people are more comfortable letting their hair down, if they have hair, with something they know is not a real human being. They want a human style reaction, but it might even be too embarrassing to say to a real human being. So I'm not saying all the time, but sometimes there can be a comfort level knowing you're not actually talking to a real human being. So that can be one of the advantages. So it really could go either way. And then sometimes when I've done tests, when my own users have done tests, the answer my clone gives is almost the same answer I give. So it's really no difference other than the fact that the clone is less expensive in terms of my time because I don't have to use my time to do it. So that's the answer to the question. It's not as clear cut as clones are always worse or clones are always better or it's exactly the same. It really depends on the context.